Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel.
Hello there and good evening to you. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up tonight on the show, the depreciation of the cedi in the last few weeks is raising concerns about the currency's sustainability. Tonight, we ask, can the stability of the cedi be maintained in the wake of a new move by the Bank of Ghana to limit its interventions in the forex market? Thank you for tuning in. As always, Business Focus is sponsored by Telecel and EcoBank. Now, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here is one you'd want to remember. Star 770 hash. Yes, star 770 hash is a new EcoBank money emergency number. Star 770 hash gives you access to funds, transfer, loans, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in a money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial star 770 hash now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Well, before we go into the details of our conversation for today, we'll go to the board quickly and walk you through updates on the currency commodities market as well as the treasury front. And currently, the dollar is trading at, will be bought from you at 10 cedis 94 pesos, sold to you at 10 cedis 96 pesos. The pound will be bought from you at 14 cedis 76 pesos, sold to you at 14 cedis 78 pesos. The euro, on the other hand, will be bought from you at 12 cedis 77 pesos and sold to you at 12 cedis 78 pesos. I'll be guided that these figures will be much higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities front, the price of cocoa is currently at $7,930 per ton. The price is up by $149. When it comes to gold, the price on the spot market is at $3,375 per ounce. It's up by some $2.78. Crude oil, on the other hand, is also up by $1.25, trading at $68.98 per barrel. On the treasury bill front, the 91-day bill is going for 10 cedis 10.83%, a jump from the earlier 9.47%. 182-day bill is going at 12.21 from earlier 11%. 364-day bill has moved to 14% from earlier 11.30%. I'm sure these moves are part of efforts by the government to increase uptake from the treasury market. We've noticed that consistently over the period, it has been unable to meet its revenue targets from the domestic market, probably because the rates are not competitive enough, because most of them over the period have sold for lower than inflation, the rate of inflation. We'll see how all of this plays out with this new adjustment in the subsequent window. But this is Business Focus here on TV3. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into our conversation for today. Please don't go anywhere.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Now, there's a school of thought that believes that building a sustainable Ghana-made economy where the cedi is not just a currency, but a catalyst for national development and pride. Well, it delves into the relationship between a stable cedi and the thriving domestic manufacturing sector, arguing that a strong cedi is essential for curbing inflation, encouraging local production, and making Ghanaian goods competitive both at home and abroad. The key obstacles, including the persistent depreciation of the cedi against major international currencies, which inflates the cost of imported raw materials and makes locally manufactured goods very expensive. It also addresses the consumer preferences for foreign goods, often perceived as being of higher quality, and the struggle of the Ghanaian businesses to access affordable credit and modern technology. The narrative should outline a strategic framework for change, emphasizing the need for policy coherence, innovation and quality control, public education, and patriotism and prudence finance, ultimately sustaining the gains made by the cedi in the story of economic resilience and national identity. Well, joining us for a discussion on how to sustain the gains made in the cedi are finance and tax expert and head of finance at Melbourne Capital, Nelson Kujo Kwagweji, also senior fellow at the Africa Policy Lens, Dr. Egboache Yadom, and board chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Dr. Edu Anani Entry. But just to take us a brief walk through memory lane, we'll look at basically a graph just giving us a fair idea of where we've come from and where we are currently. After the start of this year, the cedi was trading against the US dollar at about 14. It depreciated slightly, and at some point it hit 15.56. As we speak at the moment, it's somewhere inching towards 11, depending on which data you are looking at. But it hit an all-time low of 10.26 against the US dollar sometime in June, specifically June 12, 2025. But another graph will show you some, what would you call, consistent marginal depreciation of the cedi against the US dollar over the last, say, 2 to 3 weeks, where we've moved from about 10.3, 10.4-ish to, at some point, 11 cedis against the US dollar. If you check on Google, for instance, it will give you about 11 cedis as at today. So what is really accounting for this? Should we be concerned? What options should we also be putting in place as a stopgap measure to prevent the further depreciation of the cedi? Another school of thought also argues that, well, the president told us that the cedi will stay within the 10 to 12 cedi range. So if it is beginning to depreciate slightly, there's no cause for concern because, well, from the presidency, the target is at worst to end the year at 12 cedis against the US dollar. But some will not agree to that because, well, the impact of this will be dire. However, for those on the exporting side, this sharp depreciation has cost them significant amounts of revenue. Looking at how much it has appreciated. Data as at August indicated that the cedi, early August, the cedi had appreciated against the US dollar by about 40%. That meant that tentatively about 40% of the expected revenue may have dwindled just because the currency appreciated. But I have in studio with me Nelson Kujo Kwagweji. I'll pick your thoughts first of all. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of the current trend the cedi is taking?
Well, thank you very much. Good evening to you, and thanks for having me once again. Well, I think this is a normal phenomenon that we expect in every market. You don't expect a currency to be stable for so long a time. I mean, some factors may come into interplay to either, give weight to the cedi or the currency, or some other factors may also help the cedi toward depreciation. So I think it's a normal phenomenon which we need not to worry ourselves about. My issue concerning the depreciation has to do with the recent comment by the IMF regarding the Bank of Ghana's intervention within the FX market, which, according to the IMF, will not deepen interbank FX market. But I think that to the extent that the intervention by the Bank of Ghana is yielding the right result, I don't see any problem with that. Again, when you read the Bank of Ghana Act, and then the Foreign Exchange Act clearly put Bank of Ghana at the forefront of currency stability. And so to the extent that their intervention is yielding the needed result, I don't see any problem with that. But the twist is that around the world, markets normally discover prices And so if you want your market to actually determine the true value of your currency, then it means that the intervention by the Bank of Ghana must be reduced a bit. Now, coming back to the marginal depreciation and appreciation of the Cedi, I think that I actually projected the Cedi to stabilize around 12 Ghana cedis by the end of the year. Reason being that we are getting closer to the third quarter. And third quarter, most people will be needing the dollars for importation towards Christmas. So that might have put some little pressure on the dollar. However, engagement I had with certain bank managers in Accra shows that the dollar is actually not in shortage, but the problem has to do with documentation that the importers need before they can be given the dollars. And so going forward, I believe the Bank of Ghana will shore up the dollars within the system, reduce their footprint within the market in order to make the Cedi appreciate before the end of the year.
Interesting, you spoke about the Bank of Ghana's interventions. Well, a news coming through earlier today indicated that the BOG has reduced its forex interventions as at even July 2025 by about 53.6%.
Yes.
So we'll see if that is part of what is accounting for what we are seeing right now on the market. But on the other hand, we've spoken to Guta also on the issue about forex concerns. And they are saying that this conversation about documentation is neither here nor there, because this is business they've always done. So how is documentation becoming a challenge and the reason why they are not getting access to the dollars? But we have a rep of Guta also on standby. We'll speak to him on this particular issue and pick their thoughts. But I'll come to you, Dr. Boakye Yadom. You are at Africa Policy Lens, are part of those. Even before the World Bank, the IMF came out to speak about the Bank of Ghana's intervention on the forex market. I'd raised concerns about it because you felt it was overly intervening and not allowing the market to put out the true reflection of the facts on the ground. What do you make of this new posturing of the Bank of Ghana with regards to that policy? Doc, if you could unmute yourself so that we can hear you. But maybe I will take it a step back a bit.
Now.
You can hear. Okay, I can hear you now too. So first off, just to pick your thoughts first of all, what is your take on this current trend on the currency? What is accounting for it from where you sit?
So it is good that you mentioned that we've had this discussion as far back as April, May, when we advised the BOG that excessive intervention would in a way disrupt the market in the long term. And my brother in the studio mentioned that it is within the Bank of Ghana's regulation. And I think it is true. However, if it is, why is the Bank of Ghana reducing its intervention? And I think the Bank of Ghana has done an assessment that excessive intervention in the market will not let the true factors at play be seen in the market. You see, what the Bank of Ghana is doing within the year, I think the intervention is around about over $5 billion, which has never happened before. Even last year during the election year, the total intervention was less than $2 billion. The previous year, 2023, the intervention in the market was around $600 million. To be doing around $5 billion in the half year, I think it's excessive. And we have classical case of countries that have followed the trajectory that we are doing. You take Turkey. Turkey in 2019 and 2024 heavily intervened. The central bank intervened in the market to be able to stabilize the lira. By 2023, 2024, they were able to gain a short-term breathing space, as in the stability of their local currency. Then it started depreciating throughout, that the cushioning or the intervention did not help up to a point. Then you take Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, even in March 2022, after excessive intervention of about $2.3 billion, they have to devalue their currency. Argentina followed the same trajectory of heavily intervening in the market. So they are classical case of what has happened. That is why we caution the BOG that yes, it is true that it's within your mandate to intervene. But beyond a certain intervention, you create some sort of artificial market, artificial economy that do not let us see the true reflection of your ability to attract, the country's ability to attract foreign currency and also give it to those that need it. So if we do not take care, if the dollar come to 1 cedi, $1, we will all enjoy. However, we are talking about a long-term effect. And if you look at these countries like Argentina, Sri Lanka, and Turkey that they have given, it has a way of influencing their inflation. So the inflation that we are trying to fight, if we don't take care, it will come back in the long run to hurt us. And when their their currency, these countries I've mentioned, when their currency started depleting, or depreciating, they could not save it because instead of focusing on building reserve, they were injecting their foreign currency to support the stability of their local currency. And we know that there's a direct relationship between building your reserve and injection some amount of foreign currencies to stabilize your foreign currency to stabilize your local currency. You see, if we take Africa, Ghana is number 5 in terms of those with a very high gold reserve, led by Argentina doing 174, Libya 146, Egypt 128, and South Africa is 125. Ghana, the 5th country, is having a reserve of 23, approximately 20 per the June-July figures. We have 23 tons of gold. We are one of the countries that export more gold on the continent than South Africa. South Africa has a reserve of 125. We build reserve for bad times. We don't build reserve for good times. So now that our focus is injecting dollars to stabilize the cedi, we have shifted our focus from continuously building the reserve. And to take you back, as far back as May 2023, our gold reserve per the BOG figures was around 8 tons. And the monthly addition from that time to December 2024 was 1.1 tons per month. 1.1 tons per month. Currently, we are doing 0.4 tons per month. What it means is that we are declining in terms of our quest to build a sufficient reserve. See, the point is, at what level or at what threshold of your reserve is enough? We may not be able to tell, but we can take it from countries that have built resilient reserve, like South Africa, Egypt, Libya, and Algeria, and to follow their trajectory. If South Africa has been able to build a reserve which is over 4 times than what we have no business settling around 30. And we should rather use the opportunity we have to invest for bad times. I'm expecting that we should even be setting a target of having a reserve of doubling this by the next 12 months. If we are going to go by adding at least 1 ton, if not 1.1 tons per month, we will be able to double this. Then in bad time, we will be able to sell to cushion our currency. So the focus or the business of persistently injecting the dollars into the system will have a long-term effect. So it is a good call for the BOG to come to the reality by reducing its activity over 50%. It means that the Bank of Ghana is listening, and I think it's the way to go.
But back on the issue that you just touched on, you've made mention of some countries that have tooled along that lines and it's had adverse impact on their economy. My question to you, these countries that you gave were not backed by gold in the case of Ghana, where it's gold that we are selling to be able to finance these forex interventions, which is giving us the dollars. Number 2, you spoke about the fact that we are not building our foreign reserves. This governor has been able to increase the forex reserve to 4.8 months of import cover. Does that not indicate that they probably have figured it out? And then also on the other score, there's the issue of the accelerated export program that this government is particularly implementing, which of course will be to increase the export volumes and attract more forex to cushion the impact of the appreciation of the cedi. I know this is quite a lot to respond to, but just on the back of all that you've said.
Yes, let me respond to them. Michael, you have to understand that our 4.8 months of import cover, we are coming from the back that if we had a gold reserve of about even 30 tons as of December, that gold value has gone up over 20% within this year. It means that in nominal value terms, we are going to have the value in terms of our reserve go up due to our heavily backed gold economy, to cushion our reserve. So it is neither here nor there that having the value of import cover going up is necessarily in terms of the quantum of gold we have. And I've shown you the numbers that currently per the figures we have done about 32.99, so 33 tons in terms of the gold reserve that we have.
It's
you see,
34.4 as at
if I may,
31st July.
if I may. So the value going up obviously it swings with the value of gold as it goes up. So yes, it is good. That is why we are in good times. So if the market is favoring us and the general market economy is good, then we have to take advantage. But I'm talking about the fact that our monthly addition, if we're doing 1.1 tons per month and we are doing 0.4 tons per month, we cannot say that we are doing well. And relative to other countries, that we are exporting more gold than them, but they've been able to build more reserve than us. We should learn from them. Then you ask a question that some of the countries I've mentioned earlier are not backed by gold. That is not the case. You see, your reserve can be in terms of gold or in terms of dollars, but we have the two. We do more gold and we support with some dollars. And at every point in time, we should have sufficient of these to be able to cushion our reserve. So building reserve, not necessarily that you have this amount of gold or not, but the currency, the international currency you trade in often, which in our case, in these countries and with us, we trade more with the dollar because the dollar is a generally accepted currency. So whichever approach that you choose to have it, you choose to have it, whether in the form of the dollars itself or the gold itself, or gold to sell to get a dollar. We are comparing the same thing, because at every point, the one can be traded for the other. So it doesn't mean that we have a case which is different from them because we're all playing in the same global market. And in any case, Egypt is part. South Africa and Libya and Algeria that I've mentioned have heavily invested in gold reserve more than us, that we sell more gold than them. Then you also talk about the fact that the government is planning to export more. You see, plans are good, but let's deal with the reality. The reality is this is where we are, and we have opportunity to build our reserve. Why are we not concentrating to build our reserve? If the government intervention, the government ambition or plans to export more, if it becomes a reality, bingo, we will fall on that export to get a reserve. Because traditionally, what we do is that we wait when the city is suffering, we go to the Eurobond market, we borrow to come and inject more dollars into the system. But if the government has some plans to be able to boost exports, that will bring us foreign reserve dollars. That is fair enough.
All right.
But we are not there yet. This is where we are, and we must concentrate and back the BOG decision to back down, or by listening to what we've been saying for the past 4 months, that it should reduce the excessive intervention. And I think that is the way to go. And I applaud the BOG for that.
Fair point. We also have joining us via Zoom, Charles Kusiapia. He's the head of Business and Economic Bureau of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Guta, thank you so much for your time. For you as traders, how are you coping, or how is this sudden appreciation of the Cedi against the US dollar affecting you? Or it's early days? Kindly unmute yourself so we can hear you. All right, so while he tries to figure that out, Nelson, you want to respond?
Yes, I want to add that we shouldn't reduce the conversation to gold alone, because export of gold alone is not what constitutes the reserve of a country. I mean, we are a country that is predominantly into exportation of cocoa also. We are into exportation of crude oil. Even remittances also comes on board to add up to the reserve. Then also the special drawing right of the IMF and any other activity that can rake in forex will add up to the reserve. Now, let me also quickly add that we cannot attribute the marginal depreciation of the Cedi currently to the interventionist activity of the Bank of Ghana. As I did indicate, Bank of Ghana came into the market to stabilize the market. Now they have seen that the time has come for them to go and allow market force. In fact, the dollar is a commodity that we go to the market and buy. reason why we say that the market discovers price. So to the extent that the market discovers price, the Bank of Ghana has stabilized the system. They are moving gradually from the market to allow market forces to determine the true value of the dollar. And so we shouldn't reduce the discussion to, exportation of gold alone.
Fair point. Thank you. We now have Charles Kusi. Charles, thank you. Could you please unmute your mic so that we can hear you this time around? And then please tell us, you as traders, is this causing any challenge for you in your operations, or you're still doing good?
All right, thank you. Sorry for the early lapse. We don't see so much change in the market. Today is better than some years back, so we are okay. The issue of businesses is about stability, that we can have some level of projections into our tradings. And just like any market, there are so many challenges and dynamics. The variance within the change is not so much that we should be ranting over. You should expect that periods like this, businesses are preparing for Christmas goods, so demand for forex for transfer will go high. You should also bear your mind that early on, we had made some complaint about delays in the commercial banks meeting our outward teletransfer request. Such lapses also fueled into certain level of speculations, which of course give the forex some level of strength over the cities. And it's agreed. For every economic revamp, there are certain times of support that you must receive either from the central government or the central bank. And for us, we have received that from January up to date from Bank of Ghana, which has also helped us have some level of stability within our forex regime and has also helped us to ring-fence our capital. What we wanted to see is how the rapid change of the Cedi appreciation will end. And for a moment, we have seen that this is the strength of our Cedi against forex. In that much, we are okay with it as trade. We are okay. All that we are asking for is that we're able to consolidate these gains so that we don't go beyond the roof. There's been an earlier projection by Barclays that forex probably against Cedi will end about 12. So our operations are within this same range. Between 10 to 12, that's what our expectations are. And I can tell you we have gone beyond even the 12. So we are okay. Our other request is that there must be enough availability of forex to meet our outward teletransfer so that we don't fall into the black market, which rates are a little higher, and that will, of course, also increase our cost of doing business. For that, we are okay.
Okay.
We are hoping that they will continue to do what they are doing so that we can continue to have that kind of respite within our markets and extend same support to our consumers.
All right, fair point. We'll go for a quick break, but when we come back, I would also want to find out from you if, the last time you were on the show, you had raised concerns about the access to the forex issue. Has it really been addressed since the last time we spoke, or does it still pertain? Are you still having challenges carrying out your transactions? Is it still delaying 2 weeks, like you said?
The challenges are there, but at least we've seen some level of improvement.
Okay.
You see, information is most important to us as traders because we feed on information, quality information, to make our business decision. We had the opportunity of meeting the central bank, that's the governor himself. He told us what is really happening. One of them is the auction period, which is 7 days. So we have come to the point that within 7 days, we should have value for our request. That alone helps you to plan well than earlier where we were not able to assess what the challenges are. We've raised the issue of documentation and how it must be addressed, which have also given us the assurances of how we can address the situations.
Fair point. You're still watching Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. My guest seated in studio, and we have two of them on Zoom. We'll go for a quick break. But before then, every day people face different emergencies. Police emergencies, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here is one you'd want to always remember. *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, funds transfer, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank and proud sponsors of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Rent back with the Pia come on, come see you. Hey, where this guy? My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto etiaka. Inti ene, wono ba no mpe baby amobeda. Ye did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Every morning, I wake up to this miracle sleeping soundly. But mornings weren't always this peaceful. I remember the sleepless nights, leaks that woke us both up, damp clothes and tears. And all I wanted was for my baby to be dry and comfortable. Then I discovered Flora Kids baby diaper. Its maximum absorption keeps my little one dry all night, giving us peaceful, restful sleep. And the stretchy side tapes, they make sure it's comfy even when she's on the move. Thanks to Flora Kids baby diaper, our nights are calm and our mornings are full of giggles. For bulk purchases, call Delta Paper Mail on 02
Welcome back to Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Just gone by was EcoBank tidbits on retirement and how to help you plan adequately for your retirement. But every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here is one you would always want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank Money Emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and sponsors of Business Focus as well as Telecel. Well, we'll continue with our conversation. Doc, I'll come back to you on the BOG's, the central bank's intervention on the forex markets. Well, looking at the numbers that have come through, the central bank reduced its interventions on the forex market by 53.6% as at July in terms of the dollar interventions. Subsequent to that, we've seen some marginal depreciation. If you look at the numbers, I think this month we started about 11.4. Now we are at about 11.9 thereabouts. So just about, say, 50 pesos depreciation since they reduced their intervention by about 50%. Doesn't this then justify the intervention in the first place, that they have finally helped to sort of cool the economy to the point that now, even though they are pulling out, it's not having major shocks on the economy?
Yeah, Michael, yes, we have never said that intervention is bad. And of course, you cannot leave your currency at the mercy of the dollar to swing it anyhow. That some level of intervention is needed. And just like I have mentioned, over the years, the central bank has intervened. But the level of intervention is what is in discussion here. And I think that the reduction should have been done quite earlier, and the amount of injection should have been moderate. To inject close to 5 billion in a half year, it is so much. And you see, what was happening is that the banks were taking a very high FX position on behalf of the Bank of Ghana, or the BOG. So they know that any quantity or amount of dollar that is needed, because the Bank of Ghana want to preserve the Cedi, they would want to inject it. They will inject it. So when you inject it, it's wiped from the system or it's taken from the system. Then you have to bring another one. And some of these funds, per grapevine, get into the hands of black market or being smuggled out of the country. So the Bank of Ghana's directive to even encourage exporters or importers to use electronic means of payment, reduces the physical injection of the dollars, and in a way, it will reduce how much the Bank of Ghana is expected to inject into the system. It also opens the door for government to look at addressing the real challenges that we have. You see, we celebrate temporal and short-term glories, but we need to face the problems head on and tackle them. Yes, the government has done well. Where we are today is not the same as we were some years ago.
And it took some pragmatic measures, including the central bank intervening, which has brought us here. But you don't think it was the approach was ideal?
Michael, so the fundamental structure of the Ghanaian economy has not changed in the last 6 months. That we should be realistic about it.
Okay.
Yes, the intervention, if government can continue pumping the dollars into the system, I think on the average, our import, the amount of dollars we need for importation in the country is around 20-25 billion. So if the Bank of Ghana can keep injecting, we've done 5 billion. So if the Bank of Ghana will have the funds to keep injecting into the economy, that is fine, But it is not sustainable. That is the reality of our challenge.
Okay.
So I think that
Doc,
I think that
the issue of
government
sustainability, I think at this point we've moved beyond that, because I don't think the Bank of Ghana, the central bank, had the plan to continue this in perpetuity. I'm sure there was a goal or there was a timeline,
Exactly.
and probably they've reached that goal, and that is why they are beginning to pull back. So maybe sustainability is not an issue now. But let me put you on hold shortly, because it appears Charles wants to respond to what you have been saying, because, well, at the end of the day, they get to deal with.
If you allow me to make the point, then Charles can come in, because you've asked a number of questions.
Okay, Doc, if you can make it brief.
Okay, so the point I'm making is that we are not against government intervention.
Yeah, Doc, you've made that point. You are not against it, but how much?
Yes, how much supposed to be, and that fund, that 5 billion injection could have gone into sectors of the economy like agriculture and industry to support them to produce those imports, the importation of goods, of those goods that we could have produced locally, rather than going to use it to support the city.
Fair point. Point well noted. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why this government is pushing the 24-hour economy as well as this industrialization drive. So hopefully all of these issues will be addressed. But Charles, you wanted to say something with regards to Doc's point?
Yes. You see, if you have never done business and you have never lost capital because of forest hikes, sometimes you will make certain suggestions that will make an impression that either the governor doesn't know what they are doing. From 2021-22, when we saw forest hikes, business lost over 50%, 60 to 80% of their working capital. Every economy depends on business economic activities, and which we rely on our capital to achieve economic growth. So when your capitals are depleting because of forest hikes, the country will not have any future. That farmer we are talking about will also need some kind of support. When your capitals are depleting and you're not able to meet your loan obligations with the banks, and the banks are recording high non-performing loans, they will not inject any capital for you to also grow your business. So we go to a point where there's economic stagnation. So for any government that wants to say, I want to reset the economy, we want to take this unusual approach to ensure they give life to the economy, and to give life to the economy is to give life to businesses. You see, when we're losing out because of forest hikes, other foreign companies that have their investment here were relocating. And that is what we call the capital flight. Okay? So how do you ring-fence your investments that you have spent so much to bring in as a government? This is an intervention. To the quantum, this is what have brought that kind of relief to every Ghanaian. And there's no other theory or profession that could ever subvert what the Bank of Ghana have done. And for us as traders, we are forever grateful to him and to the team and to the government.
All right.
Because, let me tell you what, you see, when you talk to the commercial banks, we recorded non-performing loans. That started about 3-4 years ago because of forest hikes. And when forest hikes are going and interest rate is going high and inflation is going high, and that ordinary Ghanaian disposable income is also affected, and there's no sales for businesses to meet the basic needs of people. You understand that the central bank have done a lot for Ghana, and therefore we must appreciate them.
Fair point. So for you, the end justifies the means. But on a lighter note, you don't know if Doc is also a businessman on the side. Maybe he also has a business.
No. It's not against him as a person.
Fair point. It was on a lighter note, Charles.
A lot of people. I always say it is only in Ghana when we are supporting local business, it becomes an issue.
Okay.
Everywhere in the world, certain period, government decide to be deliberate about supporting local businesses. So that they can be competitive, they can be productive, and they can salvage the economy. And that is what, in our thinking, as Gucha and other trade associations, the government have done.
Fair point.
And there's nothing that they could have done beyond what they have done.
Charles,
we appreciate them so much.
Today is going your way and you are very happy. Fair point. But we are not going to let you off the hook, because the conversation is, when is the trading community going to move into the production space? Because you know that your business more or less is also part of the issues that's causing the depreciation. So we'll come to you on that going forward. So enjoy the honeymoon for now, but you are also not out of the woods. But I'll talk to you, Nelson, briefly. Your take on all of this and the way forward.
So I think that the intervention of the Bank of Ghana is not based on emotions. It's not emotional. These are decisions that is based on sound economic principles. Now, we all agree that excessive intervention is not good, because once you intervene excessively, you are creating two problems. The first problem is what you call the official rate. That sits with the Bank of Ghana. And the second problem is the transactional rate. That sits with the Abochi. You understand? The reason why currently you see that the interbank rate, the forex rate, and the parallel market or the black market rate, in fact, from the interbank rate to forex rate, the difference is about 20%. And then from the interbank rate to the black market rate is about more than 30%. You understand? So we all agree that excessive intervention is not the best practice. It doesn't correspond with internationally accepted best practices. But as at the time Bank of Ghana intervened within the FX market, it was needed. We actually started the year with the dollar trading around 15 Ghana cedis. But as a result of their intervention, currently the dollar is trading around, is below 11 Ghana cedis. So yes, the intervention was necessary, but I think the Bank of Ghana is resetting the FX market. And so if they reduce their intervention by 50% and the Cedi continues to stabilize, in fact, the doctor made mention of the fact that they, as traders, they are more interested in stability, because stability leads to predictability. They can easily predict how much they need in terms of their cash flow. So I think that the intervention was necessary. We need to commend the government. We need to commend the governor. And to the extent that they are gradually moving away from the market, I think it's commendable.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you so much for joining us today in studio. That was Nelson Kujo Kwagbaji, finance and tax expert. On Zoom was Charles Kusia Pia with the Ghana Union of Traders Association. He heads the Business and Economic Bureau. Also joining us was lead senior policy analyst with Africa Policy Lens, Dr. Eric Boachie-Adjom. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming through. That'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus. For more business stories, please visit our website at 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. Catch you same time next week.
Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trout from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late, of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go feel the luckiest. Go feel from to be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go feel be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Hey. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Next in line, please. Hi there. I've been hearing a lot about ABSA lately. People say you give more. Is this true?
Oh, it's more than true. See, your rich auntie gets more from ABSA. Your childhood friend gets more from ABSA. Your favorite uncle gets more from ABSA. Your